views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of W33BY, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Seniors, are you concerned about taking care of yourselves and continuing to live in your own home? In-Home Help Agency provides services to keep seniors safe, comfortable, and independent at home so they can continue to live in their home. We help seniors with their activities of daily living like eating, feeding, bathing, grooming, dressing, transferring, mobility, medication, meal preparation, errand shopping, laundry, light housework, companionship, so that seniors can continue to live in their homes. Call us today, 313-874-2000. That's 313-874-2000. We are hiring caregivers. Call now, 313-874-2000. Call now, 313-874-2000. Don't delay. Give us a call right now at 313-874-2000.
Wayne County Community College is a beacon of hope for so many people who can see the impact it's made and that we're celebrating the 50th anniversary and all the good that it's done.
It has been the pathway for so many to obtain a higher education.
Congratulations to Wayne County Community College for 50 years of service to Detroit, Wayne County, and all of Southeast Michigan.
Making education much more available and affordable. 50th year is just the beginning of the first century.
Collette, appliance, sales, and service. 7441 East 7 Mile Road. Over 20 years experience. We repair air conditioners, washers, dryers, ranges, refrigerators. We sell a full line of reconditioned appliances. We service most major brands. We also feature a senior citizen discount. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, call 313-891-4900. Collette.
Bon Appetit Elegant Catering, elegant at your service. We cater for all occasions. Weddings, birthdays, proms, homegoing service, graduations, family reunions, and all occasions. For the best catering in the Midwest, call Bon Appetit 313-444-5048. Bon Appetit Elegant Catering.
Rise and shine up and Adam, and it's an amazing new day. Good morning to all of you. Such a pleasure to be here. You know, I start off with my proverbial, I'm doing my curtsy for you. I am Collette Ramsey, and you are now tuned in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Such a pleasure to just be in this morning space of life. I pray that you are excited and engaged and encouraged about this new day. You know, it's a blessing to be able to wake up. So if you can see me and I'm looking at you, or you can hear me and I can hopefully hear you because you're going to call in and have some conversation with me this morning, that you know that everything is going to be all right. I remember we should play that song, Everything's Going to Be All Right. I might be dating myself a little bit. That was by, Tretch and Naughty by Nature. Everything's going to be all right. No matter what you're going through, everything is going to be okay. Know that, be encouraged. There is power in your tongue. So what you speak is your reality. That comes into existence. You got to realize that we didn't just get here. We're dealing in a world, in a space, in a time that is billions, I said it, years of age, of evolvement and enlightenment. And when you get that, you can't help but have the kind of conversation that we're going to have today. I want to give a special good morning to ownership. That's important. You have to honor ownership and leadership. Mr. R.J. Watkins, Mr. Henry Tyler, the whole WHPR TV 33 family and 88.1 family and Virgin Island family and everything that is part of this media conglomerate. Good morning to you all. It takes a team and it takes leadership and effective leadership and direction to make things work. So Thank you. None of this could be possible without you. And of course, and more importantly, and most importantly, I believe to all of us is our listening and viewing audience. Good morning to you guys. Going to give you the number for this morning, 313-868-0342. And again, another one, 313-868-0351. And 313-868-4336. And wherever you are calling from, please, when you are kind enough to call in, make sure that you turn your phone off. All right? Need you to speak right into this phone handle and so I can hear you correctly and everyone can hear you. We can have the kind of conversation that we need to have. So a lot has been going on. For the last couple of weeks, we've kind of been caught up into this sphere of hot topics because there's so many things that I want to put out on the table for us, and kind of doing that a little bit today, but there's a little switch to it. But you know that whatever you want to talk about, we can always tie it into our conversation. But the intro for today, and I want you to think about it because there are going to be a couple different angles. When Black women have power. Yeah, I want you to get it. When Black women have power. So my subtitle to that is, what happens in a society when a Black woman individually, Black women collectively have power? And I want you to be able to think about this and engage it from right where you are. So if you are a man and in society, you know what society looks like for you, especially an African American man, a person of color, a man of color, how society looks at you. And if you feel that you have power, if you feel that you are empowered, if you feel that your power has been usurped, you have that perspective. And then for that special woman that's in your life, whether it's your mother, your sister, your aunt, your cousins, whoever she is, how then do you relate to her in the sphere of power? And then the next question then I need you to ask yourself is, then how do you define power? What does power look like for you? Because I think that is what is going to base the conversation that we have this morning, is your perception and your belief of what power is in this construct. Okay? So with that, I'm going to give you, and caller, I see you, so hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to get to you. I'm going to open it up with this quote. The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. And that's an excerpt from the speech by our own Malcolm X, and he gave that speech on May 22nd of 1962 in Los Angeles to a crowd of Black Americans. And then in the speech, more so, he asked, and I quote, "Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? And who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?" When you heard those words, the most disrespected, the most unprotected, the most neglected, men of color, Black men, do you believe that is the truth for our Black women, and not taking anything away from you and what America and society says about you, or tries to create the image and perception about you? Because we understand, and I quote him, and we can disagree on the source, and that's fine too, but Noam Chomsky has stated, he has a book, It's What They Say. So they, meaning the powers that be, the influencers, have determined what media says to us. The messaging is in the media. So the media plays in large part of what the image is a perception of who we are as non-quote-unquote majority. And we've had that conversation of how the identification of non-majority, majority, what that looks like. But even more so, what does it look like to be a Black woman in America? Well, I'm a Black woman in America. Very proud to be a Black woman in America. Very clear that I have had the fortune to have experiences that the average individual would not have had. I've had the pleasure of attending an Ivy League institution. I've had the pleasure of attending parochial schools. I've had the pleasure of traveling to Shanghai in Ireland and London and Russia and Germany. And I've had the pleasure of having those international experiences which have shaped my perception. And in addition to that, having a history in a family that understood the importance of education by any means. And so that didn't necessarily mean that it had to be from an established system, but through a household that had to show me something different. But in that showing me something different, it created a different tone for me. Because that meant that I had expectations, higher expectations for myself, which perhaps might have isolated me from a lot of situations. Had the pleasure of having a conversation with a good friend of mine. Callers, I see you guys, don't hang up because I really need us to have this conversation. A friend of mine from high school, and I wasn't the fly girl in high school. I was the nerd in high school, and I was very proud of it. Our conversations with my friends were how we're going to rule the world one day. So I would always think, well, wow, no one's trying to date you. Okay, oh, big deal. I'm drinking milk. I'm going to grow up. It's going to be fine. And had the pleasure of reconnecting with a friend of mine from high school some 20 years later. And he said, Collette, it's not that you weren't the girl. We all knew that you were the girl, but you were the girl for the future. You were the girl that when everyone settled down, it would be a Collette. And in the midst of that, the other conversation was, if you were able to secure the settle down experience, how do you keep you? How would a man keep you? And I said, well, what does that mean exactly? He's like, well, you're not the average accepting, complacent person. So if there's a 9 to 5, you can just come right on home and say, okay, that's it. And we get ready to live another day. No, he said you're constantly growing and you're constantly learning and you're constantly evolving and you're constantly working to be better and to have new experiences. And sometimes a man would wonder if that is, and if he is enough. Could he be enough for you? I was enlightened this morning by an amazing engineer, and I call him production team. He's just everything extraordinary to me, Sean Watkins this morning, and having the conversation about potentially men being intimidated and what that looks like. And so do we give women, specifically African American women, the wrong messaging and the wrong perception as it pertains to what they should be, what we should be when we grow up to obtain power and influence to then create wealth for our families and in our communities? But is that acceptable in our own communities, amongst our peers, amongst individuals, our life mates, our partners? We want the best. Is that realistic? And so I'm going to throw out a couple scenarios that have happened this week, okay? Had the pleasure of viewing Governing Magazine. If you all are not familiar with it, I try to read everything. So I received Governing Magazine, and in this issue, it's the May issue, there's a segment on our own Kim Worthy, Wayne County, Michigan prosecutor. And it states that how under her influence and power that she's able to use the tools of government in new ways and being able to address the rape kit situation and identifying new funding and partnerships to create solutions for atrocities that are happening in our community. That's an example of a Black woman with power. Okay? West Point. Are you all familiar with what has happened in West Point? There was a Black Power salute from some cadets, all Black women. And what does that show? There was an uproar about it. Are they trying to separate themselves? What does it look like? Well, the ruling states that the photo was not political. So is there an issue with Black women standing up with your fists in solidarity, Black power? Is there a problem with that? I want to know what you think about it. I'm going to give you another example. We didn't really talk about it, but Harriet Tubman. When our own Harriet Tubman ousted Andrew Jackson for the $20 bill cover. What do we think about that? Power, the perception of a Black woman from a struggle of power. I'm going to reach another age group in a dynamic with Beyonce. Just came off of this whole viral video album concept with Lemonade. And some are calling it, a Times Magazine piece addresses it as the Black woman's magic. We'll talk about what that looks like and the perceptions of all of everything that has happened to Black women in America. And do we identify with that? What does it teach us and show us? Excuse me. And then I'm going to throw some entertainment in there. Do you realize that Hollywood is being defying right now through what is normal? You have top-rated shows that are headed by Black women, from Shonda Rhimes creating the storyline, an African-American woman with top-tier programs, Grey's Anatomy, The Catch, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. Two of those shows, top characters are African American women addressing major issues in law, government, influence, power in America. So what happens when a Black woman has power? Now, the other side to that, the converse to that is, guess what? A lot of times you don't see these women in relationships, do you? Or in a certain show, you'll see the Black woman, and everyone has had a problem with her having a relationship with the non-Black man. Does that change or have an influence and an effect on her power, or her ability to influence? And then I'm going to give the last example, then I'm going to go to the cause. What does it look like when we have power and influence, and then that is questioned, our actions are questioned by another woman? We know that our own Flint mayor, Mayor Weaver, there are allegations by an ex-official against Mayor Weaver. And so I'm going to let you, specifically, I'm going to just give a quick overview that for Mayor Weaver this week, she just broke her silence. And this was an article as stated in the Detroit News, and that she's denying the allegations that she was using the city's water crisis to get cash for a political fund. And this information was brought out by a former city administrator who happens to be an African-American woman, Natasha Henderson. And she filed it in a lawsuit and was basing her dismissal as being a whistleblower. So is there a different perception in our society and in our community when then Black women question outwardly the moves and motives of another Black woman? And Black women to Black men, for that matter. We were very clear about Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas. What does that look like? And then what does that look like in your households and in your relationships? The power struggle. Is there a power struggle? Are we equipped to understand that, to have successful relationships within our communities, both personal and collectively? So that, I hope that I've laid the foundation for us this morning in the first 20 minutes opening of this show. And then we're going to start talking. So I appreciate your patience. I'm going to go into conversations of each one of these headings in the midst of our dialogue. But we're going to go to the phone right now, okay? Thank you so much for your patience. Good morning. You're on Coffee and Conversation with Collette.
Good morning, Collette Bear. It's MC Gino. Happy
MC
Thursday,
Gino,
my love. How are you?
Make sure you speak up because I need a little volume for you.
It's
Gino.
MC
Okay?
Gino. Can you hear me, dear?
I can hear you.
Great. How are you this morning, my love?
I'm amazing, Gino. How are you? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Love.
You've been well.
I'm very great. I'm excited. I'm doing this career day
at
Davidson Elementary School today.
Nice, Gino.
William Davidson.
Nice.
I will be talking to the young people about careers in media.
I will be
talking to them about our radio, about the church's radio show.
Yes.
I will be talking about the whole 9 yards, how fun it is to be in media, because I love radio. Radio is my passion.
Yes.
And by the way, Collette Bear, I heard your show last night, Urban Kush.
Yes.
And you do an amazing job.
Thank you.
Everybody support my girl. Support Collette Bear. Support Collette Ramsey, a.k.a. Collette Bear, ladies and gentlemen. Support her every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 on WHPR, and also every Thursday morning with Coffee and Conversation, because you got to have your coffee and have that great conversation, because I will be out there at William Davidson today. I'm looking forward to it.
Sure.
The young people are excited. I was at Nichols yesterday. I thank the great people, Mrs. Tuckers, and all the great people at Nichols. All the young people were excited.
Yes.
And I also we went on YouTube yesterday, and we showed them the commercial for WHPR 88.1 FM of the whole studio.
Nice.
The young people loved it.
Yes.
And we're going to be using that in our pitch presentation today. So
that sounds wonderful. So now, Gino, I'm sorry. So you're on a speaking tour, Gino. It sounds like you're just out here now, right?
Yeah, we are out. Yes, I am out here representing WHPR 88.1 FM, the #1 station in the nation.
Absolutely.
And I want everybody to support Collette Bear, Coffee Conversation, Urban Kush.
Oh,
Collette Bear, you have an amazing day.
You too.
Love you much.
Love you
and
back.
I will be back on duty next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Can't wait to hear the topic, Gino.
Yes, definitely, dear.
Okay.
It's going to be teen homelessness. You take it easy.
Nice.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Everyone, that's what it's about. Supporting, creating a platform from a brand that has been established, has legacy and such value in the community, and then being an ambassador to the community. So we appreciate, we appreciate all of our talent here at WHPR TV 33 and FM 88.1, because now I'm on the radio side as well. So I'm loving it as well. So it's just great. I'm so happy to hear that. And that's what we do. A Black woman in power. As I sit at this platform this morning, was so fortunate to be able to hit the button and share with you the voice and vision of a young man who is a steward and just a star in his own right as he helps to create a voice in our community. That's power. Going to the next call. Thank you so much for your patience. You're a part of the great conversation this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Ramsey.
Good morning, Dr. Lee Bell.
Let me put this into the universe once again.
Okay.
You are my Black Power woman.
I accept that. Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Well, thank
Bell.
you.
You're so kind.
I will address the Mayor Weaver piece.
Please.
But to demonstrate your power, I right now need assistance. I have a large quantity of water, body wipes, and other Flint water crisis paraphernalia I need moved from New York to Flint.
Wow, okay.
So I'm looking for some help with that. So
Gotcha.
I'm putting it out on your airwaves.
Yes.
My number is 810
Okay.
210 8357. If you can be of assistance moving water and other supplies from New York to Flint, Michigan.
Yes. Absolutely, everyone. Did you all get that? Now, that's that call to action that we need, because that is probably the basis and most important part of having the voice that we have here and that we've been given here for WHPR TV 33, is to be able to put that out. Just our sisters and brothers in Flint are in need of water and continuous other items that help in their everyday activities. And so we need to get that from New York to Flint. And so Dr. Lee Bell has shared that with us this morning. And Dr. Bell, give us your number one more time, everyone. And we need to collectively think about how we can be of assistance in that effort. So one more time, Dr. Bell.
810 210 8357 to help with the Flint water crisis.
Gotcha. 810-210-8357. Flint water, continued Flint water crisis support. And I'm so tired of saying Flint water crisis support. I'm tired of that, but that is what it is. So maybe we will continue to have the movement that we need to fix this crisis if we continue to label it as such, Dr. Bell.
Yes, we appreciate all the help you can give us.
Oh, always, always. So thank you so much. And I'll make sure by the close of our conversation today, I share your number yet again.
Okay.
Okay.
And now if I might address the Mayor Weaver scenario.
Please, I'd love your input. We'd love your input.
It's a sad commentary when we have such a stalwart in the African-American community who happens to be a Black woman.
Yes.
Trying to lead her community through this crisis. We have to keep in mind that Miss Henderson is an agent of Governor Snyder.
Okay.
She was put in office by Darnell Early.
Okay.
Given a 5-year guaranteed contract. Now, we also need the audience to remember that Miss Henderson, prior to this last lawsuit, filed a previous lawsuit against Mayor Weaver.
Okay.
Because she broke her contract.
Right.
But Mayor Weaver broke the contract because Miss Henderson broke the contract.
Oh.
So she's grasping at straws. She's an angry Black woman. A local TV station has done a I'll say, preliminary investigation.
Okay.
And has found no existence of the fund in question, the Caring About Flint Fund.
Okay. Okay.
The TV station has a great reputation.
All right.
The mayor has also hired an outside agency based in Lansing to further refute the allegations.
Okay.
It's sad that Ms. Henderson has put this negative information out there that might hinder other aid coming to the city of Flint.
Right.
And here's an ironic piece about it.
Okay.
They're sorority sisters.
Right. I was going to ask you, I saw the picture, and I looked, and I was like, oh, they're hailing the same sorority. They're sorors, and that doesn't happen. I mean, well, let me just say it shouldn't happen, but okay. I guess in this case, membership privileges meant nothing.
While talking with Dick Gregory this weekend, he said something to me that was so profound.
Please share.
We often talk about the crabs in the barrel syndrome.
Yes.
And how it works against our community.
Yes.
Mr. Gregory talks about the crabs in the pot syndrome.
Oh, in the pot?
It's not us pulling each other down.
Okay.
It's the hot water that kills us.
Wow. So at the end of the day, we're all dead, huh?
Yes.
Did you all get that? Did you get what Dr. Bell just shared with us? So it's not about us pulling each other down. It's about the fact of us not even looking at the bigger construct of what we all are dealing with, and it'll just kill us all. Yeah. That was pretty good, Dr. Bell. I like that.
Dick Gregory is a very deep, intelligent individual.
He is, absolutely. And we need to make sure that we stay educated and enlightened and ultimately empowered when we get those bits and nuggets of wisdom.
And thank you for your leadership in that arena.
It is not a problem. It is just a conversation that I'm so fortunate to have. So thank you so much for sharing, everyone. And remember, Dr. Bell made a request. If anyone and everyone can be of assistance in getting much needed supplies from New York to Flint, please give him a call at 810-210-8357.
It's sitting there for our pickup.
Gotcha. And we'll talk more about it, Dr. Bell, when I get off the air as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Continue to have an amazing day, okay?
And you do the same.
Thank you. So everyone, I mean, think about that. Are we, and then I'm going to ask, how do we even get there with that? So we're so busy, out of all the things, and I'm not negating, I don't know Mrs. Henderson. I believe everyone has the right to, go use the law if they feel that they've been wronged or whatever the case may be. I appreciate the backstory, because there's always a backstory that Dr. Bell was able to provide for us today. But I want to know, in the midst of all this, what does this have to do with fixing the pipes in Flint so that the residents have water? Sometimes I always use the phrase deflecting. I'm so tired of people deflecting. So out of all the other things that we need to worry about, and again, not negating her concern or her allegation, however, is that the priority of what we need to be focused on right now? Just thinking about it. Thank you so much for your patience. You're part of the conversation. Good morning.
Good morning, fellow patriots.
Oh, how are you? And first of all, let me just say before we get started, I have to publicly on the air apologize to you, because why was I thinking your event was on the 13th? And I hit Michelle, and I'm like, okay, isn't the event this week? And she's like, Collette, no, it was the 3rd. I am just appalled that I missed the round table.
I was just crushed when I didn't see you there.
I know, I was crushed when I wasn't there.
You told me over the airway that you would be there.
I know! We have been sharing this conversation for the last, 45 days and getting ready for this great town hall. And I'm like, okay. And it was the 3rd. I'm like, really, Collette?
That's right. It was last Tuesday.
But I was asking that, and after I got the clarity yesterday, I'm like, okay, how was it? Please, maybe I could have him as a guest on the show. Okay, so I know that's not why you called, but I needed to do that.
Well, it's quite all right. It was attended by the people. There was about 50 people were there, and they enjoyed it, and they want me to give another one.
Very good, yes.
So I will be formulating another one after I rest up from the
first one. Okay.
No. There's no rest for the weary. You don't have time.
Oh, no rest for the weary.
No. We don't have time for you to be resting, Patriot. There's too much out here that needs to be done. You need to get back on the saddle. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. You gotta come on now. So let's talk about power this morning.
You brought something up when you said the media.
Okay.
You know, when we say media, I know everybody thinks of the 247. But
yes.
When you say media, I think of the great station that you're on television. 247 is secondary.
Sure.
The HPR is primary station for me to get news and information.
Yes.
And it does. See, and when folks were screaming about this guy, Norman Shy, nobody's showing. They showing the pictures. I mean, what did we do? Did we show the Norman Shy's picture?
No.
We could have showed it.
We could have. You're absolutely right. And you know what, fellow patriot? Why don't you give a little backdrop, or if anyone isn't aware about Mr. Shy is the mastermind, the ringleader behind the DPS, Detroit Public Schools, kickback.
To the tune of $2.5 million.
Did you all get that? $2.5 million.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, now he was the mastermind, and when the mastermind, he's supposed to be in his picture, but they keep showing the principles that were taken, to me, just a small amount of money compared to what he took.
Sure. But now stay there for a minute, because
secondary media keep showing the principles.
Right.
And then we should show the main culprit.
Sure.
That's how strong WHPR is.
Absolutely. Well, I'll get a picture so I can show it. All I saw was his property, the lavish housing.
I Googled him and I saw a picture of him.
Okay.
Googled, see, when the media kept showing, their media kept showing that the principles that was involved in this, but they never showed his picture.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious. I said, well, what does this guy look like? They keep saying his name, but they never have a picture accompanying his name.
Well, you knew who he was then. You should have known. We were having
I knew.
Right. You knew he wasn't an African-American man. You knew that much.
I knew he was a white guy.
Right.
I know that because of the media. By the way, I'm familiar with how they work. And like when like Dr. Bell was talking about Miss Henderson come out, as soon as the story came out, I knew it was a story to discredit the Mayor Weaver. Okay.
Yes.
And I knew that they need to discourage her so they can control the contract, because she was controlling the contract. So
right.
Trying to get the power out of her hand. You're talking about the whole situation of power and black women.
Power.
This is one of the reasons that we have so much trouble, because we so easily infiltrated, because we sell ourselves cheaply to sell our community out.
Right.
We always easily bought. We can sell ourselves with just a chicken dinner, okay, and sell our folks out.
No, you didn't say that, sir. Let me just hear you correctly and make sure that our audience heard you correctly. Did you say that we can be bought with a chicken dinner?
Easily bought.
Easily bought with a chicken dinner.
That's right.
Wow.
We don't have any integrity when it comes to that. Money should not be a prime determinant when we want to further our agenda.
Okay. Sure.
We should not, if we want to take our community to the next level, we need to stop selling ourselves out short for little chicken feed.
Well, stay there with me, Patriot. Mm-hmm. So now, what you and I and the rest of our viewers could look at as substantial money, maybe to these individuals, this was it. This was the big time. If I could get $50,000 or I could get $100,000.
$50,000. $50,000 compared to $2 million.
I'm just saying
$50,000 compared to $2.5 million. $5,000 compared to $5 million.
Yes.
See, that's the problem we have. We get a little money and we get a little happy about the little money that we get, but they don't see the lasting effect and devastation that they have for their community.
Yeah, sure. So it's the misuse of power then. So it goes back to
power.
us.
Now, the whole theme of your show is about power, right? We got power, but we just don't use it. And when we, I think black women, and I've seen, I went to my niece's graduation a few years ago. She graduated with a associate's degree. Now she's into trying to get a master's. Or her bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
Okay.
But it was more women graduating, black women graduating in that class than it was men.
Yes.
So women are getting educated. They have the power. You know, you got Loretta Lynch, who's one of the powerful law enforcement agents in the country.
Yes.
Who was black. Then we got a lot of black leadership in corporations that are women.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, women have the power, and it doesn't help us any when our music don't reflect that. It reflects a negative image of our women for the main music that people seem to be gravitating towards.
Sure.
To me, it's a respectful attitude to have about our women.
Okay.
And we're the only one that seem to be projecting it like that. But the power is still in your hand because we are consumers, and black women spend the money.
Sure.
They know this.
Sure.
Y'all are number one spenders of dollars in America.
That's right. That's right.
So,
I mean, you make some great points.
When it comes to power, y'all have it.
We have it.
You have the power.
We have the power. I remember.
Right.
I don't know if you all remember that cartoon with Grayskull and He-Man, and he says,
yes,
I have the power. Do you all remember that? I think we need to start realizing that we have the power. We need to
and
accept
that's what we got to project. We project the image that we want. See, when we say projection of strong black women, I'm looking at WHPR. All I see is strong black women on this station, okay?
Amen. You're right.
So in this other station, radio station that you work at, all I hear is strong black women, okay?
Absolutely. Well, let me just say for the record, the only radio and TV that I am now a part of is WHPR TV 33. So let me change that one up for us. It was doing some.
Okay.
Just for some clarity. Yeah. No, and that's fine. And I can share this with everyone. You know, when you're in a space and everything is there and you help to grow a brand, and very excited about the opportunity to grow a brand. But when you really have a real conversation that leads you to understand that same growth, you need to continuously reinvest in you and your community and yours. And that action. So when you understand it, when you know better, you just have to do better. By any means, you have to do better. So,
and like I said, black women to me always had the power, you know, starting off with my mother, okay, who was Mother's Day, was just released, and we should celebrate that. You know? We should celebrate the great mothers that we have who sacrifice so much to get us where we need to go to the next generation.
Absolutely.
So women have always had the power, as far as I was concerned, to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm lecturing, especially when I talk to students, I always say women have the power to change the world.
Yeah.
Because they're the first teachers of every human being on the planet.
Absolutely, we are.
So a mother's guide or women are the key. So power and women are just synonymous for your conversation. It's power and women.
That's
women
right.
Powerful women. And so
I got it.
That's all I got to say.
We appreciate your conversation. Thank you so much for engaging. Definitely look forward to the next.
And congratulations on your show. I haven't heard it yet. Kush.
Urban Kush.
Urban Kush.
It's the business of an emerging industry.
Which is something we need to talk about.
We got to talk about it. Thank you so much, Patriot.
Okay.
All right. Have an amazing day. Thank you. Everyone, and caller, I'm about to get to you, so don't hang up. Everyone, that's the conversation that I need us to think about this morning, and every day for that matter. Do you understand power? Now, this is from a universal sense now. Man, woman, child. Do you realize and understand and accept that you have power? You have power. No matter what your situation is, you have power. You have the ability to make a conscious decision to change the dynamic in which you are engaged in. You can change your course at any time. The direction can change at any time. You have to understand that. We can't keep having oppressive conversations. Like, it just irks me now that everything is oppressive. Well, they won't. Well, we can't. That irks me to no end. Period. I'm going to put it out there. You got to stop that. What you speak becomes what you believe. So you can't blame anybody else. Now, yes, there are other circumstances, absolutely, life circumstances, extenuating circumstances, just by the pure nature of us understanding who we are in America. If you're not a ruling class, then you understand the challenges that you're going to have. And yes, that happens. But it doesn't have to be that way. It does not have to be your lot in life, this life or any other life that you believe that you have been a part of. I'm just saying, do you understand your power? Maybe you don't. I'm going to ask a couple callers. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much. You're on Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, the question of power was brought up in Mississippi during the 60s, and it was Stokely Carmichael and a guy down there head of the chapter of SNCC. And
Stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there for a minute. If anyone you don't know, SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. That's SNCC for those listeners if you didn't know what that is. Please continue. Thank you.
Yeah. And Martin Luther King asked him, what do you mean by power?
Okay.
And he, in his last book, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos and Community, he said they could not explain it. And they was confusing power with individual. And he said, well, we as a people are oppressed as a people, and we will overcome that oppression only by acting as a people, not as individuals.
Come on.
I, me, and mine.
Come on.
And he's told them, and that after he told them that, he said that to them, and I'm quoting him now.
Okay.
When a people is stuck in oppression, they realizes deliverance when they have accumulated the social power to enforce change. And they still didn't understand it. Then he said, power will not be legislated for us and delivered in neat government packages, because power is a social force. And our task is to organize our strength, that is the people, into a compelling power, that social force, compelling power, social force, so that government cannot elude our demand. And he just didn't talk about power in the abstract.
Yeah.
He applied power, and he was the only one. Malcolm X and none of them. He applied power, and the power he applied was to get force them to pass the force Johnson and the Congress to pass the 64 Civil Rights Act.
Come on.
He forced Congress, and with that method, and the people behind him, that social power, forced Congress to pass the Food Stamp Act in 64.
Okay.
And he forced Congress in 65 to pass the Voters' Rights Act with the people, and forced Congress to pass Medicare and Medicaid public health for the people. So he proved it. It wasn't an abstract. And when we hear about, and that it goes into the old subject I hear a lot of people call the air.
Yes.
They're talking about I, me, and mine. Listen to them. But we as a people, it's got 154 standing in line for water. Don't be shut out. We as a people is being moved out of the cities to suburban enclaves.
Yes.
So when we talk about power, and we don't talk about it in the real terms of our life and separate it according to gender, we're still in the bag of I, me, and mine. And that bag, we have failed talking about advancing us through individual achievement. A basketball player, a black becoming the president, that don't advance us one bit. But when we came together during the civil rights movement, that's when we advanced, and we got things to show for it. Is again, the Medicare was social, Medicaid and Medicare.
Yes.
It was a Food Stamp Act. It was the Voters' Rights Act. Those things you can touch. You know it was achieved through that method, but through the method of individual, woman or man, that is no power. Power is social change for people. When we talk about power, we're talking about specifically black power.
Right.
And black power is collective power moving, not individual achievement.
All right. Appreciate that call. Appreciate the knowledge that you've shared so much, and always on Thursdays when you call in. Thank you so much.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Have an amazing day.
Have a day. Bye-bye.
Man, did you all get that? you know, that's the beauty of where you start. Because, you know, you come out the gate. It's like in a horse race, right? The Derby, Kentucky Derby, everybody, okay. You're coming out, when you come out the gate, you think you might be on one position when you come out the gate, but you still got the whole length of the track to get to. Did you really get what the caller just shared with us? That as a collective, we were able to accomplish, there were fruits of the labor back when we worked as a group. Had a conversation with an attorney, was out in a meeting at the Jewish Life Center. I think I gave that scenario before, and saw all of this collective energy and a history with a group of people. And so I asked this gentleman, how are you all able to accomplish what you've accomplished? And he said, because we realized that we couldn't do and we can't do anything without each other. That we have to stick together to accomplish a goal. And whether we disagree, not an issue, because ultimately all our movement and our collective effort has to be towards the advancement of the group. Caller couldn't have said it any better, because is that our problem? Are we going to say that the Willie Lynch theory really just separated us and that's just what it is? Because we really, I mean, he just gave prime examples of what has happened historically when we had a collective voice, but there was a shift. Are you thinking about that? Let's see what you got to say. Thank you so much for your patience. You're part of the conversation. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Amazing. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Wonderful.
I want to get back to the power in women.
Okay.
And as a young woman, I was married, had a child,
okay,
and was really engaged and involved in a political campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And as a woman, I was able to advance in this political world.
Okay.
And unfortunately, at the time, I was married to a man who only saw me being out with all these other men.
Ah.
And so therefore, you know, I would come home and it would be, well, how many men were there? And did you have to wear that? And I was so engaged in the political part of it, I didn't even think about all the men that were there.
Right.
But we as black women have a lot to deal with. And black men have to learn that we're not like them. We're not always out there trying to find another date or trying to advance something. We're there trying to advance our career and our family's career. So I love the topic, and it brought back a lot of memories.
Absolutely. No, well, stay there, because I appreciate this is what happens. This is when it gets to the good part. So from your experiences, are you suggesting then that there is an oppressiveness with black men and women in our...
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. You know, times have changed. Fortunately, my daughter is the breadwinner of the family. She has this fabulous job. She travels all over the world.
Okay.
And she is married to a man, very good-looking man, who has decided that he would take care of the children.
Okay.
Because he understands that this woman is the breadwinner.
Okay.
So
no, interesting. Stay right there for me. Stay right there.
But the political world is very different.
Well, stay right there for me, because then, and of course not trying to get into all of their business, but just you can give us an overview. How then do they function? Do they have defined roles? So when she comes in, does she switch a hat? Because I've heard older, more mature women share with me that, oh, well, yes, I was totally professional outside of the home, but once I got home, I let him know that he was still the man of the house.
Absolutely. And when she gets home, it's cooking dinner, it's washing the hair, she turns into the wife.
Okay.
And those are the roles that you have to play. And, you know, it works for them.
Okay. So everyone, I put it out there, maybe we need to do a show about that. Do you understand the role that you need to play?
Right. I think that would be a great show. And it's called Relationships.
Oh, you know what? You know, you hit it on the head. You got something. Do you understand the role you need to play? And then, or do we do ourselves a disservice when we don't want to play the role?
Right. Right.
And then who defines the role?
Right.
Great call.
So we'll do a relationship show. Okay, darling.
It's coming.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you so much for calling. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Everyone, did you get that one? That's why I love having what we have, what we share on these Thursday mornings, because then we opened up a whole new bag, right? What does that look like? So power within relationships, specifically with people of color. So do we even have power? Should we not even be using that word? Is that a construct outside of the home? That might be the show next week. Thank you so much for your patience. You're a part of the conversation. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Collette, Deputy Chief.
Oh, Deputy Chief, good morning to you.
Hey, how are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Good, I'm good.
Wonderful.
Hey, look, it's an interesting subject that you have about
power.
power.
Yes.
Let's look at Comey Young,
okay.
former Mayor Comey Young.
Sure.
The majority of his administration were women. Okay.
Okay.
And he was asked by Bill Bonds, why do you have so many women in your administration as department heads, your inner circle, da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And he said, hey, look, women are powerful, and when I ask a man to do something, it's a lot of horn and hen. And bottom line, the job don't get done. But I can talk to women and ask women to do something, and it's done exceptionally well. Okay?
Okay.
So, and so when we talk about power, there's all kind of power in a lot of places like leadership.
Yes.
We look at DPS, okay?
Yes.
We got a black woman that's the head of the union.
Yes.
DPS, but we got a white man by the name of Dave Heckler that's the president of the American Federation of Teachers.
Yes.
And he's not instructing her to say, Ivy Bailey, to say 3,700 members of DFT get involved in the recall. Do you realize if 3,700 members were instructed by Ivy Bailey to go out here and get into the recall of Rick Snyder, who is destroying DPS? Okay. If each one of them took 25 petitions, that would be 1,110,000 signatures. The DFT could get rid of Snyder. Okay.
Yes.
Now let's look at the power of black women in Detroit in the grassroots movement.
Yes.
Where is the get on the bus lady? Where is the hood research lady?
Okay.
Where is the what the other lady was talking about? We the people.
Okay.
If we hate what's going on in Detroit by Governor Snyder, why haven't these folk come out and said, hey, including the men?
Well, I was going to say, and I'll do fairness, and they probably, just because I haven't heard of it, or perhaps you haven't heard that they're working, I am going to assure you that they are collectively.
No, Collette, let me tell you.
No, don't tell me. Don't tell me they're not. Please don't tell me.
No, let me tell you.
Okay.
Because I'm there, Collette.
Okay.
What's happening is individuals in those organizations are working independently, but you have not heard them come out and say, the leadership of these organizations have not come out and said, hey, I want all my members to get engaged in the recall of Rick Snyder.
Well, then, come on, then. I'll do you one better. Then let's add in there the NAACP. So where's the NAACP?
Yes. Pardon me?
Where's the NAACP?
That's my point.
Oh, okay,
That's my point. I mean, you got a bunch of women over there. If Wendell Anthony don't have the backbone, then the members should tell Wendell Anthony, hey, get up off the stick and get behind this recall. But see, the problem with Wendell Anthony is he sit on that panel that took and reduced the pension of the city workers.
Okay, well, I'm not. Look, we're gonna have another show on that one. Okay.
Okay.
Let's do that. We're gonna do that. I always appreciate you. Thank you so much for your call.
Hey, have a great day.
You have a better one. Everyone, I think, and the other two callers, man, I see you, and good mercy, I'm out of time. I got a minute to wrap up. appreciate you callers. Please, call first thing next week. I'll get you right back because we need to continue this conversation. But I have to wrap this up and let us all know that at the end of the day, as the callers, as you all have shared, and you've been able to bring it full circle for us, it's all about who we are as a collective. I can be rah-rah and do all these amazing things as an individual, but I have to understand that it's a representation of the collective group, of who I am and who I believe I am, and the people in which I say that I love and who I'm a part of, and that's my community. And so we all have to take ownership for who we are in our spheres of influence, and then to be able to create a collective cry to push an effort, to push our agenda. And maybe in so many situations, to establish an agenda. So maybe, I'm just going to put it out there, that as we conclude the conversation, that now the women, the matriarchs, maybe we need to go back to who we've been and create a calling, if you will, an ancestral uprising for us to grasp who we've been, understand where we are, and then to effectuate the positive change that we need in our lives and our communities. That's where I'm going to leave it with you for today. Thank you so much for your time. It's always been a pleasure to be in an amazing conversation with you. Look forward to being back in here next Thursday for Coffee and Conversation with Collette. Have an amazing day. Oh, thank you so much.
W33BY, Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of W33.